All right, good Sunday afternoon, everyone. Thanks for stopping by for a check of your forecast. Hope you are all doing well today. It is Sunday, June 29th, year of our Lord 2025. Got a few isolated thunderstorms starting to pulse up in the southeast panhandle. This is something we've been dealing with on a day-to-day basis. Isolated thunderstorms in the afternoon when we get to the peak of daytime heating. Looks like our areas to focus on for today are the southeast panhandle and areas just off of I-25 there near the Sangre de Cristo mountain range. Looks like some of those are going to make their way eventually into eastern New Mexico, those counties that we cover, Union and Quay County. So it's something that we'll keep an eye on this afternoon. The overall threat for severe weather today is relatively low, but it's not zero. I think the biggest concern for us is going to be those winds gusting to about 70 miles an hour. The hail threat should be pretty limited, expecting them to probably be below severe limits. Anything under, probably the size of quarters can be expected, but especially in some of these, better cores. The biggest issue will be the wind and the very heavy rainfall. Some of these storms are going to be almost stationary today with the winds aloft that we have, which means that they'll probably collapse pretty quick as well. We do not expect these storms to maintain themselves for more than, say, an hour or so. You will get one to collapse and probably some additional storms to fire along outflow boundaries today, but we do not expect the parent thunderstorm or updraft that initially gets going to maintain itself for more than, say, 60 minutes. So that's kind of what we can expect for today. But we will see some heavy rain rates. We're talking about rain rates as high as maybe 2 to 3 inches per hour. That will lead to some isolated flooding concerns between about 6 o'clock and midnight tonight. The biggest hazard again will be winds gusting to 70 miles an hour for the severe weather concerns, but flooding will be more of it's going to be localized, but it'll be more of a bigger hazard for us because all those storms are going to be capable of some high rain rates, even if they are not above severe limits. So lows for tonight going to fall into the mid 60s. Highs tomorrow should be a touch cooler than today. We're sitting at 91 currently here at the station. 87 is where we expect to get to tomorrow afternoon behind that cold front. We are expecting storms to stay focused along the front the next couple of days. So wherever it stalls out tomorrow afternoon, is probably where we're going to have the most storm activity. We do think it'll probably get all the way down to the Lubbock area by the afternoon hours, and so that would leave most of us with some quieter conditions in the afternoon on Monday, but we can't rule out some thunderstorms even here in the Panhandles region. Now, as we move into Tuesday, we will get some return flow. That front actually will retreat to the north some, and so the southern half of the Panhandle we think actually should be best favored for some widespread shower and thunderstorm activity. It does not look like it would be much of a severe weather risk, but we will see some heavy rain, and that's going to lead to maybe some pockets where we get 1 to 3 inches of rainfall. If you've already seen that 1 to 3 inches of rain last week, your ground is very saturated, so runoff is going to be possible with some of this stuff, and that's going to lead to the flood concern. And then here's your chances or probabilities for a ½ inch of rain tomorrow. The further south you go, the higher the odds are going to be. We're not going to rule storms out across the whole area. It just looks like coverage will be a bit better the further south that you get. So that's why that 40% chance covers places like Clovis and Portales, and then only a 20% chance here in Amarillo, and then a 10% chance for the northern half of the Panhandles region. The chance for Tuesday does increase substantially just due to where that front's going to be retreating and setting up for that afternoon. And so you see those spots really start to, or those chances and probabilities start to spike on Tuesday. So here's our next weather maker. The overall pattern is very messy, but we do eventually get that trough that's centered over California to move into the Four Corners region. That will lead to probably some cooling aloft, and this will probably set the stage for some dry line thunderstorms here somewhere across the high plains. I think that dry line will be pretty far west given recent rainfall, and so most of the area may still be in the playing field for the chance for some thunderstorms. As we get into the weekend for the 4th of July, this is currently Tropical Storm Flossie, but could upgrade to a hurricane at some point this week as it gets closer to the tip of the Baja Peninsula. We do expect it to fall apart. There's a lot of colder water out here, and it's just going to kind of run out of warm waters to help feed that storm. But we will get some residual moisture pulled into that subtropical jet stream, which is going to run over our heads. And so generally speaking, While the chance for rain may not be high each day, we can't rule out some of those really isolated tropical showers for the rest of this week and even heading into the 4th of July weekend. And if we do get that trough to dip far enough south, that may be our lifting mechanism or the dynamics needed for maybe some better coverage for some storms on, maybe a 1 or 2 day basis, getting closer to that 4th, 5th, or 6th time frame. But currently, the Climate Prediction Center having us at a 1 in 3 chance to be a little bit above normal for precipitation, and they've got us actually a little bit favored to be warmer than normal in that 6 to 10 day time frame. So we're talking about July 5th through the 9th. That would be from Saturday into early next week. And you can see we do have highs in the lower 90s. But this week will be a little bit below normal. Highs in the 80s tomorrow. I think we'll be a little cooler on Tuesday with some additional rain shower activity just hanging around most of the day. So high of only 79 that day, but lots of 80s for the rest of the week. The chance of rain, again, you can see thunderstorms on the 7-day every day, but the chance is pretty low aside from Tuesday, anywhere from 20 to 30%. The mornings will probably be pretty quiet. As we get into the middle of the day, we'll get to that convective temperature needed to see storms initiate, and then we'll start seeing some isolated cells pop up in the afternoons. We're not guaranteeing you rain any day. I think your best chance will be Tuesday. I can't rule it out though the rest of the week, but the storm coverage should be fairly limited. So most will stay dry, but there are going to be a few storms around for the rest of the week. That is all we've got for you this afternoon. Hope you enjoy the rest of your day. It is a little warm out there, so if you plan